Welcome back to Bridal University. I'm Ebony.
And I'm Zoe.
And this is episode 8.
8. Oh my goodness. I'm shocked. It's been a month. It's been more than a month for us when we're like trying to plan. But, it has been a month since we've been filming, which is crazy.
That's pretty crazy. Episode 8. So last episode, let us know how you felt. What did you like about it? Anything you took away? Any good tips and tricks?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's 2 months.
2 months. Yeah, I was
it's 2 months. Oh my gosh.
It's like a month. I was like, we'll talk about it later.
I'm just being silly. But yeah, if you liked anything from last episode, let us know if you want some more like informational stuff. If you like the informal information kind of vibe.
Also make sure you're keeping up with our Instagram and TikTok because we're just planning some cool reels that we have coming up. So you're going to see more than just like sneak peeks. It's going to be like some cool trending styles, So we're excited about that. So make sure you follow us.
Definitely follow us. On Instagram, we're bridal.university. And then TikTok, it's just Bridal University. So pretty easy to find us.
For sure.
Yeah. And if you are having trouble, just go to our website and all of our links are in there.
Yeah.
So
everything's on the website. And you know what else is on the website? Our event tab.
Ooh.
And you know what's in the event tab?
What's in the event tab?
Our event coming up for our Bride and Bubbly brunch and fashion show.
Oh my goodness.
What's that?
What is our Bride and Bubbly fashion show event? What is that?
By now, I hope you know what that is. But if you do not know what that is, on September 6th, we're going to have a Bride and Bubbly brunch and fashion show. So you can come out, meet your host from Bridal University. You can have brunch with us. You can watch our fashion show. It's going to be amazing. We're going to have giveaways. We're going to have a DJ. It's going to be a good time. So make sure you come out and check us out.
It's going to be so fun. I'm so excited.
Like,
woo.
It's going to be great.
Yeah.
Did we have a question last time? Did we end on a question?
I think so, but I don't think it pertains to what we're talking about today. Cool. It wasn't necessarily a lead-in, but we have a topic. I'm sure you guys already know it by the title of the video or the podcast, but today we're going to be talking about going with the more traditional route in weddings and kind of straying away from tradition.
Yeah, so traditional versus non-traditional. So we're going to be talking about that in all aspects, in all areas. So this is going to be a fun episode because we get to kind of incorporate things that we see every day in bridal and things that we're dealing with. And it's going to be fun.
It's going to be a very opinionated episode.
For sure. And just like I said, our experiences and like what we've been dealing with lately. So it's going to be nice.
All right. Give us our first debate.
Okay. So this was basically inspired by a post I saw on Instagram. So I saw someone taking their grandma's old dress and they took it somewhere. I think it was like this company that does this. And they turned the dress into like a robe. So like a nice robe that like she would get ready in that morning while she's getting her makeup and hair done. And also she used a piece of it for the veil. So traditionally we would see brides actually wearing their mother or grandmother or great-grandmother's dress. But now it's being repurposed into something a little bit more modern.
I love that.
I love it. It was really cute. It like looked very nice that you would be like, oh, I didn't even realize. But the lace was kind of like, a little bit more modern how they used it. So yeah, I liked it.
I would love to repurpose my grandparents' dress. I know my grandmother was like the tiniest human being at her wedding. So I don't know if there's any way I'd be able to fit in her dress. But that's like a cool spin to still have it be a part of the wedding and be a part of that day. I've seen a lot of people will take like the lace too and turn it into a veil or use it as like the different little appliques to put on the dress.
Even like a piece of the lace around the bouquet that they carry. I've seen that as well. So that's just some ideas, if you do want to incorporate the dress or something from your mom and grandmother, someone down your lineage. That's a cool way to incorporate that.
Yeah, I love that. I love when there's like tie-ins or I have a bride who's wearing, I think, her mom's veil, and it's really cute when you get to pass something down. It becomes the something borrowed, and
Yeah.
I think that's always been a very cute trend. But I think the like non-traditional aspect is turning it into your own thing, and I really like that instead of just being like, oh, I'm gonna wear my grandmother's dress. It's like I'm gonna wear it as a robe. Like that's fun.
And you don't feel bad, like, oh, like how do I say, like, I don't want to wear this dress that's not so in or trendy.
Yep.
So you can take this thing that's maybe a little dated and turn it into like a really trendy thing. So I think it's cute.
I think that's really cute.
Let us know how you feel about it, guys.
Yeah. All right, what's our next debate?
Garter toss.
Oh. I personally don't love this tradition.
It gets weird.
Yeah. I feel like if it was, a private ceremony where it's just you and your now, partner, it'd be fine. But, like, you're doing it in front of your whole family and all your friends and possibly your bosses if it's a big event. So I don't know how... And I wouldn't do it. That's all I'm going to say.
I've seen some grooms like really get into it and like incorporate a little shimmy and a dance and they're like going in. They're like lifting up the dress. I'm like, your grandma is sitting 2 feet away from you. Like,
I know, but sometimes the families are like just as into it.
Like,
yeah, to like, each their own. But for me,
what's happening? And the bride is just sitting there like,
yeah.
So it's a no for me.
Unless all teams are okay with it, I think that's a tradition you can...
you can just do without.
Yeah.
I think we're fine.
Yeah.
You can just do without it. So the next debate is style of dress. So I know traditionally, when grandmothers and moms come in, they're like, my dress was a hoop skirt and like a high neck and it went all the way down and
long puffy sleeves,
gloves covered from like head to toe. Not so much in 2022.
No.
And I think that's like one of the hardest things for people to kind of wrap their mind around when they come to these appointments and girls bring grandma or mom and they're trying to like figure out, bride brings grandma and mom, they're trying to figure out their style versus like the expectation of style and what was done before. So now we're seeing a lot like trending styles of like corsets. We're seeing like deep slits and deep plunging necks and illusion, sheer.
The trend is definitely sexy right now.
Sexy.
It's a bride wants to feel beautiful, obviously, but she also wants to feel very, like, empowered and, like, look at my butt in this dress. Look at, like, the way that I'm being held up,
Look at the structure of this gown. Like, look at my boobs, you know? And that's not going over well, as we're seeing.
Yes.
Like, as of lately, like, I can, like, think of, like, my more recent, like, where the girl is, like, in this corset, looking great. And as a stylist, I'm in the corner, like, yes. And the mom is like, no. She's like grabbing fabric and like stuffing it in and like covering her up. And I'm like,
yeah, she doesn't want that.
No. And everybody's like, yeah, no. So yeah, that's definitely a debate of traditional versus non-traditional in style.
Yeah, I think like even 10 years ago, I think about what was popular and it was like big and poofy and very bedazzled and sparkled. And that was very, sexy at the time. But now it's more like, let's show off some more leg or let's...
like silhouette. Like we're starting to see like a more fitted, like sculpted type of like fit.
Yeah.
And I just think that it's very non-traditional. And some of the traditional side is having...
Yeah, there's something else too with dresses that I think we need to address that I feel like a lot of people are just like, where are the white dresses? And it's like, not really here anymore.
Think about how many white dresses we have. Do we?
We have dresses that might come in white, but
like
in our store, no, not really. Maybe one.
Yeah, like, and I think that surprises people because they're like, either it's like two ways. People come in like, okay, so number one, I don't want a white dress. And we're like, oh, well, you came to the right place. You don't have to worry about that. Or we have to like kind of get the bride's mind centered around having that white dress. They're like, well, is this ivory or is this white? And we're like, ivory.
Yeah.
And they're like, wait, so is this dress? And we're like, okay, they're all ivory. Like, we don't really have white.
No.
And if you would see yourself in a actual white dress, I don't think a lot of people would like it.
No.
The contrast, it's like really cool. Sometimes that's like a bluer tint. Just doesn't like look the greatest.
No. Ivory complements a lot more skin tones. It's more versatile. I think the big thing behind that is the tradition.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people have connotations about what an ivory dress means, or, you know, what a white dress means.
Yeah.
And it's very...
I hate to say that, but like, hate to say this, but I think that's like foolish a little bit. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, a color, a style of dress does not define like your purity or like your...
No.
Like, that's such a traditional thing that we're just like getting away from. Like, even with the blusher.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like, people aren't doing blushers
People
anymore.
aren't doing the flip, you know, and you walk down the aisle.
Yeah, blusher is usually the part that's like in your face, and then you take it and flip it back. But we don't. It's not traditional. Like, it's traditional, but we're seeing it as now it's just not a thing anymore.
No. And I think, you know, a lot of older people don't get that, you know, just because someone's wearing an ivory dress doesn't mean they're like, you know, not pure or whatever. But like, that's the biggest thing. There, people will see our Instagram, or I'll show people and they'll be like, why are all these dresses ivory? Like, where are the bright white dresses? I'm like, those aren't it anymore. Like, nobody does that.
Yeah, it's not it. Where you been? But yeah, and I think that this episode is really important for us, I think, because it's nice if you're watching this and you're a bride. You feel supported. You feel like, because I know that sometimes when you're in this journey alone, you can feel kind of bad because you want to, you know, exceed everyone's expectation, and you kind of want to go with what your family is wanting you to do. But this is a platform where it's like, you're not alone, and what you're thinking is not alone, and this is actually the norm of things now.
If you want white, that's totally fine too. Like, I don't want anybody to think that we're like condemning white dresses. You can totally get a white dress still if that works for you and your family and your beliefs. And you're fine to get a white dress. Just understand that a lot of places, white is now not so common.
Yeah. Even designers, some don't even offer it in white. Like, I think that in Bridal, ivory is just the new white. So I'm sure out there is a designer. Like Zoe said, there is a designer. We're just kind of coming from our perspective and what we, you know, who we work with and what we see. So
Bridal is a lot more fluid now. It's not so much like, here, come into the store where we have 20 dresses and you have to pick from one of them and it's only $50. You know, it's a wide range of budgets, and it's a wide range of color. It's a wide range of style. It's so large. There's so many dresses. There's so many styles. If you really want to go all out sexy, there are dresses where it's just a bodysuit with lace on top. There are dresses now that are fully modest and covered completely. You have a wide range of options. And if you're looking for that specific item, just got to do your research and figure out where you're going to find it, and, you know, places that will cater to what you are looking for. Different regions have different styles that are popular. Us up here in the Northeast, we have a completely different selection of styles, I'm sure, than the South. Weddings are very different down there.
Probably more traditional. You know?
More traditional, yeah. So it depends where you go, but at least for us in our store, white is not very common. Modesty, we have some options, but for the most part, what our brides are looking for is that sexy, fitted, you know, new bridal look.
Fresh, trendy.
Trendy. So
For sure.
It just all depends on your region. It depends on the person. So, like we always say, do your research. Figure out what's popular in your area and where you can find what you're specifically looking for.
You may have to take a trip. You know? Just depending on what you like.
Beep, beep, road trip.
All right. Next debate, venues. Ooh. So I know traditionally, kind of like we were talking about a couple weeks ago, people use like more of your religious setting. So whether it be like a church, whatever your religion, usually, you know, the setting usually is. We used to see like a lot of hotels, like grand halls and like
Yeah.
that kind of venue. But now we're seeing more like of like a fun side to it. So like I've seen like weddings take place at an aquarium, museum, outside, like more of like the mountain hiking type of aesthetic. Like we're seeing a lot more.
Yeah, just exploring your options. A lot of people are trying different places. A lot of people are making their wedding parties much smaller,
Yeah.
so they're able to do these different locations. I feel like, 10, 20 plus years ago, it was always like, religious venue
Yeah.
or,
That's
a
all you-
hotel, ballroom, casino, very fancy, very, this is your wedding day. It's the most extravagant, biggest thing you'll ever do. And now I feel like not the seriousness, because obviously getting married is really serious, but
Yeah.
people are more relaxed and trying to
Yeah.
have fun with planning their weddings rather than making it this huge, stressful, large,
Like
crazy
serious.
production.
Like yeah.
Yeah.
You said, not serious, but like stuffy and like really like straightforward. Yeah, like people are just kind of having a more laid back, fun approach to it, which is nice to see
Yeah.
because it is supposed to be fun. Like, I mean, in my opinion. But
Yeah. I think it's really awesome to like see all these different venues and stuff, because my biggest thing is like I didn't want to get married if my only options were, to do one thing. I like multiple options. I love the idea of the aquarium and the museum, or even destination weddings are huge, I feel like lately. People really don't want to include 100 people in their wedding. They just want the closest people to fly with them, and then they get married and their honeymoon's right there. Like they
No,
don't have to do
legit.
anything.
Yeah, if I were to ever get married, I think that's what I would do. Like a small ceremony at first, and then like maybe a bigger one. Like when I say small, like intimate, like probably like 5 people.
Yeah.
That have just been there and like know your story, like really supportive, and then like maybe a little bigger destination, maybe like 25 people. That's my thing. But like you said, that it works for that. I think you're not seeing like the 250 plus, and like the big ballroom or church. Like I don't feel like we hear that a lot.
No, not as much anymore.
Yeah.
But going off of that, like the wedding parties and stuff like that, I have my own little tradition that I want to throw in there that I'm a little bit like, I don't know how to feel about it. But the big bridesmaid groups, like the people who have 9 to 10 bridesmaids and they have to go everywhere to do everything together. I love that you have all your greatest best friends ever and that you're all doing so much fun stuff, but we can't have 9 to 10 people in our store at a time. And if you're coming in just to have fun and try on dresses, it takes the seriousness out of actually finding the dress, and it mixes too many opinions. We talked about this in our appointment videos. Of course, we want you to have a great experience, and we want, whoever you want to be there to be there. But at the same time, it's intimate, it's private, it's not a party. And I think a lot of people really see like the fun, oh, I'm gonna have all these bridesmaids and it's gonna be this great thing. We're gonna go on this big trip. And I think movies and TV has really like pushed that narrative of having huge parties and doing all of this. But from what I see from the brides is it's one, stresses them out, two, like, oh my gosh, that maid of honor must be in tears trying to plan everything for such a big group.
True. Yeah.
And it's just very costly to include everybody in that.
And coordinating everyone's schedule.
Yeah.
And like,
I could see some people working it out, and for some people that's really important, and I totally get that. But for me, I wouldn't want to have to put anybody through that stress of having like that many people involved. And also I just think it takes out the fun of just having like, your closest people. If you're trying to have like a big wedding party and, you have like your sisters and your 2 best friends, but then all these other people who you've only really been friends with for like a couple months just because you want a big party, that's something I don't necessarily understand. But I don't know, big wedding parties I feel like are very traditional in that sense, having like big lines of people next to the bride and groom.
I can barely fit in the pictures.
Yeah.
We're starting to see like such a non-traditional like turn to that.
Yeah.
Because I know that people are like, oh no, just my sister, and like Like, I'm starting to see like 1 to 3
Yeah.
even. Like, that's definitely becoming like the new norm of just kind of eliminating all that drama and all that like chaos.
Yeah.
That's usually what it becomes. Like, let's be real, you try to get like 9 to 10 people on the same page. I feel like everyone's gonna fight for their,
Yeah.
their spotlight. So that's definitely something that we're seeing too. So that's a good point.
Yeah. And even too, like the not having all the bridesmaids be in the same dress or the same color.
Yeah.
That's a big not traditional thing that is awesome
And
in
it
my
looks
opinion.
so good. Earlier today, I seen like a olive green mixed with like a burgundy
Ooh.
and like just all the different hues of those. Like not even but it looks so beautiful.
Yeah.
And the aesthetic was like baby breath and like fresh flowers, and it just looked so beautiful. So yeah, that is something that I'm starting to see now. Like
Yeah.
not everyone in that same powder blue.
Yeah. I think it's fine if everyone's in the same color and it's all different dresses.
Yeah.
I think that's fine as long as everybody gets their own choice of a dress. That's like my biggest thing.
'Cause everyone's body
It's different, yeah.
I love when people do that. They don't just pick one dress for like everyone, and because not everyone's shaped the same.
No.
People have different.
As long as you're picking the same material, like you're not mixing satin and chiffon and all these other things, I think that's fine. As if you have the same material and the styles look similar enough that they work together, that's fine. But, I think forcing everybody to be all in one style
Yeah.
is not. I mean, it's traditional, but I
inclusive,
think I
though,
prefer the non-traditional route in that sense.
Yeah.
But
That's a good debate. That's a really good debate.
yeah, what do you guys think? Let us
Yeah.
know.
Please let us know. We love to like keep the conversation open and going. So if you disagree with us, and you definitely comment below. Let us know how you feel, and we actually address our comments because we did like a whole
Video
episode
about
off of someone commenting. So we definitely want to know what our viewers are thinking, because that's why we're here.
Yeah.
We're here for you. We want to know what you're thinking. So
All right. What's our next debate? I'm excited now.
our next debate is food and dessert. So I know traditionally you go to weddings and you sit down and it's like this 3-course meal of like salmon, steak, or chicken with like mashed potatoes or like some kind of dinner, like super traditional. But now I'm starting to see like food trucks, pizza, like just fun stuff. Like I've seen like cookout style where they had like sliders and like barbecue and stuff like that. So I think that that's kind of cool that people are, like we were saying before with the venues, kind of having like a more fun approach.
I love that.
I love that. I love the food truck.
Yeah. I think casual food is so much better in the long run. It's probably cheaper and more people will enjoy it, I think.
And actually eat it. And I even know like for desserts, instead of having like the dessert table, your traditional cake, they're having like an ice cream truck and like just really cute little ideas. So I think that that's fun.
I do really like that. I think like the traditional everybody sits down at the same time and eats all at the same time. That's fine, but like you could make it way cooler.
Yeah, and you're like walking around to different food trucks and like you can like incorporate that in your cocktail. Like it's just so nice. You can save time for the traditional, first course, second course. Like that takes a lot of time. So I like it. I think that's cute.
Yeah. Okay. What's your next debate?
All right. So the next debate, I know traditionally the bride and groom, bride usually wait to see each other like right when the bride is walking down the aisle. But we're starting to see, I know that Zoe was telling me like she actually had someone who brought their fiance with them to look at dresses.
And I always like, my heart drops a little bit because I've been in bridal for a few years now. It's happened before. And in the past, it hasn't always been a pleasant experience to have the guy there, because usually when a male is present, they don't necessarily like the sexy dresses that the brides are picking, or sometimes they want to push the bride to be more, like they don't think about what the bride actually wants. It's a lot of like their own opinions put in there. So I'm always like, ooh, there's a guy in there, But this fiance came in, he figured out how to hook himself up to the Bluetooth speaker, was playing music, was, helping her out, like taking pictures. Like he was so fun, and I thought that was like really awesome that they got to do that together.
Yeah.
And you know, it was overall like a really great appointment. He gave good feedback. You know, he knew what she wanted and was like trying to help her stick to that. Like I was thoroughly impressed by this man. I was like, I have faith that they're gonna be together for a while.
That's when you see like you're truly marrying your best friend.
Oh
like,
yeah. It was an awesome appointment. My worries were like gone in the first 5 minutes when I like actually started talking to them. And it was just really fun. And I think that, you know, I really have no opinion on that. I think it works for some people and I think it doesn't work for other people.
Yeah, I think for me, because I like, I think I'm so focused on like the drama of like wanting to see my person cry. Like that's my biggest thing. Like when you see me, you have to cry. I want tears. I want it all. So I'm like, is that going to take away that moment if you see me already? I don't know, but maybe their emotions of the day hopefully would. I don't know. That's my thing.
Yeah.
So I think that some people also have that in mind as well. Like they're like, well, I don't want to ruin it. But
I think for some people, and I'm like kind of talking about myself here, it's really hard to keep secrets, and that's like the biggest kept secret of the whole wedding. You know, every time people are like, can I take pictures? And like, yeah, but don't put it in your hidden folder, like nobody sees it, blah blah blah. And I'm like, that's so like stressful. You know, obviously don't go posting it on social media, but like I just kind of think it's almost funny how secretive it is, because it's like a top secret thing and like you can't tell anything. But
that's me though. Like that's 100. Like I know how I would be. Like, don't show this person, don't show that person. I want that drama like that.
Yeah.
As soon as they see me, like, but if you see the dress already, you're not gonna be surprised.
No.
Like, I don't know.
I think that
hilarious.
I think it's
laughing at me.
No, I totally get it, because I'm also someone where I'm like, you need to cry when you see me, you know?
To cry. Like, I'm gonna turn around and try again.
It's like every morning for me, I'm like, I'll go in, I'll stand and be like, do I look good? And yeah, like, oh, I gotta remake my entrance now.
That's me, because it's like yesterday, I didn't have to ask, and I like came in the room and I looked a hot mess, and you were like, oh, you're so beautiful. And now today I'm all made up, and I'm damn, you didn't say anything. So, do I not look good?
You look great every day.
Imagine being my person. Oh my gosh, and I stress him out so much. He's like, you look great. I'm like, but you didn't say it. I had to make you say it.
It has to be a lot of reassurance. So like, I totally get that. Like, I need the tears. I always hear the brides be like, if I walk out and I don't see a tear, if I, you know, get at least halfway down the aisle, I'm turning around and trying again.
We're going to try again, because clearly you have something in your eye. You're not focused. Something's happening. So we have to try again.
You should be overwhelmed.
Like what? Like
overwhelmed with joy.
Spend the rest of my life with this person. Okay. We're getting off topic here. I'm a little dramatic, as you can see. Let's go to the next debate. So traditionally, you would have your flower girl or ring bearer little boy. Usually that's like traditionally what it is. But I'm starting to see like really cute trends of like doggy ring bearers, or they're like tying it to the collar, or like doggy flower girls. They're like, I don't know, I think that's cute.
Have you seen the flower girl that was like the full grown man, and instead of flowers he was like handing out beers and drinks at the ceremony?
That's cute.
Like he was all dressed up and he was like throwing flowers, and then he had like a belt of like drinks and he was passing the drinks out. Like,
see, I'm for a good time. Like I love when people take a spin on it and make it fun.
Yeah.
I also heard a bride the other day. I didn't take the bride, but someone else was working on it. I heard her and the stylist talking, and she said that she's gonna have a grandma flower girl.
Oh.
And I thought that was cute. She's like, yeah, my grandma's gonna be my flower girl. And I was like, oh, that's cute.
That is really cute.
So yeah, we're starting to see a non-traditional trend and take to this. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are moving away from having children at the wedding.
In general, yeah.
And I can see this going both ways. I know for my mom's wedding, I was there for the ceremony and some of the reception, but as it got later into the night, it's late anyways. She wants to send me home. So, I see it both ways. I see not having your kids could be, really helpful, but I also see that, your kids want to be there too.
Yeah, they want to be a part. I definitely think for the ceremony, it's cool. Maybe for like if you're having like, well, usually reception is like 4 hours, so maybe like the first hour and a half.
Yeah, at least dinner time.
Yeah, just like have dinner, and then like when the party happens, I don't think I want my daughter there when the party happens because mama's gonna party.
I just, I think it is very versatile in that sense where if you're a bride and groom, bride and bride, if you don't have kids, I could see why there really is no need to bring kids. And I think a lot of people get mad about that or whatever.
I was going to say, people get really offended. Like, I've heard, like, people take offense to it saying on the invitation, like, this is a no-kid event. Or, like, I'm like, how do you, like, this is not a playground. Like, no. It makes sense.
And we talked about this in our appointment video. If you're a parent and you have a kid with you, you have to watch that kid.
Yeah, you're not going to have a great time, and I think they want you to have a great time. They want you to be a part.
I get that they want their kids to be like a part of that, especially if it's like, your sister's getting married and you have kids and you want your kids to be a part of it. But you also have to understand that sometimes a wedding isn't the best place for a kid, especially if it's not like, the bride and groom have kids and they're trying to include it or stuff like that. Like, there are sometimes just not the right place for kids to be. Grown-ups getting drunk or, things like that. Like, nobody really wants to have to take care of a kid at a wedding. You just kind of want to enjoy the night.
Have a good time. Yeah. And sometimes I think parents in those settings get kind of comfortable. They'll, like, just let their kids, like, start running around and, like, just kind of taking over the space. And it's like, well, you're not watching your kid now. So it's like there's just so many, and some halls and like venues just don't call for it. I think too, like it could be a safety issue, just depending on what they have, props, different things, materials that they're using. So yeah, I just think, and all in all, just be respectful and like don't take it personal if someone is saying like your kids can't be a part of the ceremony or the after. Like, just don't take that personal. You know?
It's also hard sometimes for kids to sit through ceremonies because it's so long and quiet. And I know me, like, if I was getting married and a child started crying, obviously natural for them to do. I wouldn't be mad at them, but that's all I'd be able to focus on is the crying baby in the corner, not, my partner right in front of me.
You're going to look back. You're going to be concerned.
Yeah.
So, just keep that all in mind.
Yeah. Do we have any other debates?
I think that's it for me.
I have one
more
thing to add in. I think I sent you a video. I don't know if I actually sent it to you, but I saw this TikTok and it started out and the groom was cutting his pants to turn them into shorts, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Like, those suit pants and that outfit's kind of expensive, and he was just cutting it into shorts. And then all of a sudden I see the bride start running to the changing room, and I'm like, no, she cut her $3,000 dress into like a mini dress. She cut it like just with scissors, like not even like had somebody like professionally sit there and cut it. They like went as fast as they could. You could see all the lines, and I was like, oh my God.
They stayed in that for like the after party reception. She
cut her like, that's a big thing that I just don't understand. I don't even know if it is a tradition or not, but like doing something to the dress, like how we saw that video of the bride jumping in the mud, or like people that jump in the water after they get married, if they're getting married on the beach, like change.
Like we need to have like a moment of silence for that dress. All right.
Moment of silence.
I feel like that dress just needed
like a second,
a second, because why would you ever?
It's not just a $3,000 dress. It's $3,000 plus the alterations plus anything else with that. Like, that kills me. Just watching that as a stylist, I was like, oh my God.
And I get the idea. Like, I hear people say all the time when they come in, they're like, well, it's just for a dress for a day and you're never going to use it again. And like, what's the point? But like we just talked about all the ways you can like repurpose and use this dress again, and it's like I just wish that narrative would change. Like, oh, it's only a dress for 5 hours. Like, no, this dress is now a part of like your life.
Yeah. Well, what I see now too, like what I tell a lot of brides if they have a more like simple dress, they're like, oh, well, I'm never gonna wear it again. I'm like, why not? Go to a seamstress and have it hemmed to be a shorter dress and wear it on your 10-year anniversary. You know, something like that. Don't just automatically assume that, oh, the day's over, it's done. You made an investment on this piece.
You could dye the dress.
You could dye it. You could, cut it. Some people could take the fabric and turn it into other things, but now you've just completely ruined any chance of a good hem. Because she cut it short, too. So, like, if she wanted it brought up to be, like, hemmed properly, that dress is barely covering anything.
She really took the term trash the dress and just ran with it.
Yeah.
Like, she trashed it. It's done.
That is something that I simply just can't get behind. I don't understand it. If you want to trash a dress, get a $200 reception dress and trash that dress. Do not destroy your $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 wedding dress just for. Did you ever hear like the term like do it for the Vine?
Yes.
Like it's like that. Like do it for the TikTok. Like don't
do it for the TikTok. Don't do it for TikTok.
Spend like a good hour thinking about that before just deciding I'm gonna cut up my dress. Like it's different for the groom. Sure, that suit was probably much cheaper. Hopefully it wasn't a rental.
Can you imagine?
Oh my God. But, like, that's a little bit different. Like, a suit is very different from a wedding dress.
I have so many questions for her. I wish we can get these people in and, like, interview, like, find people off of TikTok and, like...
I want to interview that girl who made her dress in a week.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I need to, like, maybe that's something... Even if it's a Zoom call, like, I have so many questions
I do too.
For you. Were you drunk? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so many questions. We're not even going to get into it because that would be a whole
we tend to go segment. On tangents.
Yeah,
so.
We would go off. We'll forget that we're filming and, like, just sit here and keep talking to each other about it.
Yep. But I think that's enough debating. If you guys have more ideas on what you think is traditional versus non-traditional, leave them in the comments and we can address them. Maybe we can do a little side video where we talk about some more.
Some bonus clips that we are going to have coming up too. Yeah. We have all the things coming up. We're just up and coming.
Everything's always up and coming.
Yes, for
but
sure.
I need to tell you guys, there has been a secret in this video that is going to be a big hint at what our next video is going to be. So, if you caught it, keep it a secret. Hold on to it.
And we'll be revealing the secret next week on episode 9.
Episode 9. That's right. I love 9.
So, I'm excited for the secret.
I'm so excited.
It's been hard to keep it from you all.
I know.
Like, I don't think you all realize.
It's a big secret, and if you caught it, good. But don't spoil it for everyone else. So, let's move on. Let's end the episode, and let's get ready for episode 9.
Do you want to do a question?
Yeah.
No? You
don't want to do a question?
I think we should do a question, but I was going to say a question about what the episode's going to be about, but... Okay. So, here is a question for relating to that. I'm going to think for a second. I'm trying to make my question good for you, unless you have a question in mind. Let's see.
I think a good question would be... I was really hoping that would work, and it would just... The question would
and then I just start talking like we finish each other's sentences.
Okay.
I'm going to try for you. I think a good question would be...
Okay. I actually have a question.
Okay.
So, when you are at a wedding, do you think it's better for a photographer to pose you or for everything to be very candid and natural? I think that's a big thing. A lot of people mix the two. A lot of people just prefer the candids throughout the day and then maybe some formal-ish pictures. But I don't know. I really love that like candid feel.
I love candid. I live for candid photos. Like, you just, the energy is so different because not everyone is like confident and like photogenic, so they overthink it, and then you get like, but candid photos just tell a story. They don't have to be perfect to work, you know? If you're posing and it's off, it looks like you failed.
Yeah.
Like, you tried.
Yeah.
But with candidates, you don't have to try, and they always come out amazing.
Yeah.
To me, personally.
I always think it's funny when you get like the funny candids too, where like someone's like mid blank and you're like, I think those are hilarious.
Or like mid like hugs, like the emotion of like going into a hug you never think about until you see it in a picture. Just looks so genuine, and just like they tell a story. That's what I love about candidates, where I think pose just looks like
Very stiff.
yeah, very like
Yeah.
yeah,
I think some like posed pictures for the bride at least, and the groom, you know, for them to have like some slightly posed but still natural look. Like nobody's gonna be standing stiff arms, stiff legs, like one arm over. I think doing like those formal pictures but still in a very natural, comfortable way, like pose yourselves how you are comfortable. I think that's very important. I don't necessarily love, like I think about like the photos of people's weddings from the 80s where both backs are straight and they're standing in, you know, the church, and then, you know, they're arm in arm, and like, those are so funny but so outdated.
Yeah, no, I love, or like even like posing and then like kind of going with the flow after, you know, like you said, like kind of a mix. I think that works too.
Yeah.
But let us know what you.
Yep. All right, guys, we'll see you next week for episode 9. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all of our socials, subscribe to our channel, all that good stuff.
All the good stuff.
And we will see you next week.
Next week. See ya.
Bye.